Hey, people. Just doing some tweeting out to people. So we will get started in just a moment. I don't know if anybody's actually going to watch this. It's pretty early on a Saturday morning, pretty late in the US. So yeah, this might be pretty quiet live stream, but I was going to do some coding anyway, and I thought, why not just put this, why not just do it live? So here we are. We'll start in just a moment. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me just share my screen so everybody can see what I'm working on. So I'm going to pull out this chat. Here we are. And minimize this. Actually, I'll just pull this over here. I've got my iPad with me this morning as well. So if we run into any math or any coding problems that we need to think through, I might pull the iPad out and share the screen with you so you can actually work through it together. So yeah, so I've been thinking about a couple things this morning. I've been thinking about putting together a helper class, so refactoring some code. So I might start there. So we had a pretty intense live stream yesterday. We went 6 hours. It's quite funny because sometimes the most simple coding tasks are actually the ones that take the longest. We had this thing where we were trying to get a LFO working on a filter cutoff, and looking back, the answer seems so obvious, but at the time, it was I think it might have taken an hour to actually work through a solution that was just so obvious in the end. It was actually this one, line 356, where you have an LFO output that's outputting between -1 and 1, and then you just multiply that times what you want the depth to be, how many hertz you want the filter cutoff to range over, and that's really it. Yeah, I can't believe it took us so long. Well, I say us, it took me so long because we actually nearly came to the solution right away. And then I don't know why, but for some reason we went off on this, I went off on this diversion and was trying all kinds of crazy solutions and nothing was working, of course. And then I went, there were people that were in the chat that were just saying it's just LFO depth times LFO, the output of the LFO plus the filter cutoff. And I was like, yes, I know, but yeah, I got stuck for a little while, but we got through. We actually did quite a bit. I don't know how many people are here that were with us last night, but this is kind of where we are right now. And just going to build this. And let's see. So where is it? So I got to type in the password. So here we go. Yeah, this is looking pretty cool. So we have a oscillator. We have two oscillators. We got FM capability. We got pitch that we can pitch semitones up and down. We got gains on each one of the oscillators. Got a filter LFO, which is pretty cool, working pretty decently. We also got a filter envelope that is not working at the moment. And we have a main envelope that is that's working. So the only thing that's really not working is the filter envelope. For some reason, it just gives these really unusual values, and I can't figure out what's happening. I think it might, I was thinking about it this morning, and I think that it might be that maybe I'm not calling reset. I'm not resetting the envelope properly, and that it gets stuck somehow in this state where it's giving these, it just keeps on increasing the value rather than resetting. So tough to, something to think about this morning. But I was thinking the first thing that I was going to do was going to be that a little bit of cleanup. So basically we have these kind of a look and feel, I guess. I mean, this is all just kind of standard JUCE stuff, but there is a look and feel in terms of all of these components have a white border around it that is 10 pixels within the actual bounds. Most of these dials have the same width and height to them, and same size, more or less, except for the reverb. And so I was thinking that it might be cool just to subclass that out into a helper class. I don't, just in case I actually create some more components. So I think that's a cool place where we could start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, so I have these two subfolders. I have this data and UI folder. I think I'm going to make another folder that's going to be called helpers, maybe. And then what I'll do, never actually done this before. So let's see, where should we put this? Shall we put this in, I will put this in here. We'll call this custom components. And I will put it in my UI folder. And so the first thing that we'll do is some refactoring and see where we're at with that. So as I was saying, the font height, text box width, text box height is mostly the same. And also I have this other, function here, set slider params, that is the same in all of these components. So I think just to clean up, to start things out, I will just make a custom component that will override JUCE component, and then I will inherit from my own component. So let's try that. So I think that'll be a good place to maybe get started. So here we are in our custom component, and we have this paint override. So let's see, we're going to do a little bit of surgery here. So this is going to going to take this, I'm going to copy this into the custom component. So here we go, like that. Now I'm going to grab some of these const expers. I'm going to pull these into the custom component as well. And then we have a get name method that I created because not every component is going to have the same name, right? You're going to have oscillator 1, oscillator 2, envelope, so on and so forth. So I'm going to have a name here. I'm actually going to put this in a separate tab. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Then I need the string that I'm going to be able to pass around. So that will be here. And then let's see. What else? What else do we have? Only thing that I'm thinking about that could give a problem is that each one of these is going to have a different constructor. Is that going to give me problems? I don't think so. I don't think so because this is inheriting from JUCE component. I have a custom constructor here, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. Then we have this set slider params. So this is, pardon me. So this is a method that I made up that I find it quite handy. I think I'm going to use it quite a bit in the future, where essentially what I was doing is because there's all of this, I've looked through so many code bases and you spend all of this time where you're setting the slider style, you're setting the text box style, you're setting the font, you're setting the justification type, you're making them visible, you're setting up your attachments. And now we have this method, which actually, once you've decided a style that you want your slider to be, you can just actually put in all of your data and it just does it for you, which is pretty handy. So I'm going to put that down here. So this will be custom component. And then we also need to bring over our oscillator. So we have this, our using statement. We will need to bring that over as well. Then we have all of this. Just thinking if I want to do a custom look and feel at some point, then I will need to, it'd be nice to have one place where I'm changing that rather than 10. So I think that will be helpful. So there we go. So that's fine. So the idea would be that we would be able to set up so let's see, another thing that I was thinking about was going back to the oscillator component, for example, is that we have these labels and these sliders. I'm not a big fan of how the default way that JUCE positions the labels to the sliders. And we can see that the relationship between these is the same in each one of these. So we have a slider that's set 30 pixels down from the label. So looking at that, I'm thinking we should be able to abstract that out, right, into kind of a master kind of dial/label class, right, where we could just input. We'd be able to set one position and it would set both of those things up at once. That shouldn't be too hard. I can't see that being too difficult. But we can come back to that. Let's do these other things first. So where's our custom component? So we've got our custom component. So we have this, we have our paint override. So what's the error that I'm getting here? All of this needs to be capitalized. There we go. So that should fix that. I have set slider params here. And so let's just try this on one component, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to, I won't need paint anymore. So the idea is to simplify these classes down. This is an experiment, so I don't know if this is actually going to work. So we're going to, instead of inheriting from JUCE component, we're going to inherit from custom components. And of course, we need to actually include it. Include custom component. And then once we do that, then I should hopefully be able to just do this, eliminate all this. So the idea is to simplify these down. And then I can get rid of this as well. Let's see how if that actually works. And here we go, we are building, build succeeded. So if everything's worked properly, great. So that's all worked properly. The only thing is that I've actually made these the wrong slider type. So it looks like we need to have a slider custom component and a dial custom component. So let me just change that quickly. So going back to custom component. Now we are going to change this to rotary horizontal vertical drag. Now we will build again. And there we go. So that works, right? So that's fine. So let's try that for, we need to have a set name as well. So let's see where to do that at. So that needs to happen in the editor. And we should probably put a check to make sure that the string isn't actually empty when we do this. So let's go back to custom component, and at the end of our draw method, at the end of our paint method, we're going to do an assertion. We're going to say name is not empty. So this is just to make sure that we've actually named our component. So if I do this, we should get an assertion here. See, it says because the reason being that I haven't actually given the component a name. So now we are going to go back into our plugin editor. Now if I do this, so let's see, I did give that a name though. Interesting. Interesting. So let's walk that through the call stack and see where that's actually calling from. So it's calling from OSC component. And it's just empty, but this is strange because the processor kicks off the editor. This is the problem because it's initializing all of this here. So it's already initializing and already must be calling paint before all of this actually calls. So let's just set a breakpoint here and see if this actually calls before the assertion hits. Interesting. So that was unexpected because it set the name. It did set a name. Then it creates the editor. Boom, creates the editor, do all this. Yeah. So which one is it calling from? Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to console out, name is set, and then I'm going to do this. Painting, so I'm going to do custom component. And then in here, I'm going to do painting. So if my understanding of this is correct, then name is set should happen before painting. So here we go. Yeah, name is set is called before painting. But then it's given me this assertion here that's saying, so the assert Yeah. Why is that happening? Strange. Okay. So let's call it a breakpoint here. See what's happening. So so we have the oscillator component name. Interesting. So it does say that the name is oscillator 1. Name is not empty. Am I doing that wrong? Let's look at the documentation. Oh my. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's see what I'm doing wrong. Maybe my understanding of the API is just wrong. So we need string. Go to is not empty. Returns true if the string contains at least one character. Wait, I got this wrong. I'm thinking wrong. So if it's not empty, yeah. So it should. Oh, so I got this wrong. It should be not is not empty. Yeah, not is not empty. Name returns true if it's not empty. So we want to make sure that it is. Oh my goodness. Not is not empty. So let's look at this. Name is empty. Returns true if the string contains no characters. Am I just thinking of this backwards? If the string is empty, then that would return true, which is not what we want, right? We want to make sure that the string is not empty. What in the world? Yeah, but this doesn't show. Okay. So that's not right. Okay, cool. So my thinking was not wrong there. Okay, so now, yeah, so it looks like my thinking is fine there. It looks like I'm just doing something else wrong. So I've got set name, passing in the name. Why is that not? What in the world is happening here? Yeah, it's got a name though. What in the world? It's not empty. I don't get what it means. Am I just not doing this right? What in the world? Returns true if the string contains at least one character. But it does contain a character. What am I doing wrong here? Let me look at this. All right, number of characters in a string. Let's try this. Let me just try this. Assert name dot length is greater than 0. So let's try that. Okay, so clearly I'm doing something wrong here. It's unbelievable how have I just not all right, so let's go back a step further. So the only class that I've inherited from my custom component is my oscillator class. Is it because it's const? No, it shouldn't have anything to do with that. No. What in the world is happening here? What in the world is happening? All right, let's just have a look here. So ADSR, so I got filter, that's just from JUCE component. The only thing that I'm inheriting from my oscillator component is, that I'm inheriting from custom component is this oscillator class. I see what I've done wrong. I've got two set names, two methods called set name. Yeah, I forgot to delete the one that's in the oscillator class. Yeah, this should work now. If it does it again, yeah, see? Man, see, that's what happens when I'm refactoring. So I had this method that was calling an oscillator component, and it was superseding the one that was calling in my custom component, right? Because I'm trying to factor all of this out. So funny. So let me just change this back. Name is not empty. There we go. Oh boy, fun on a Saturday morning, huh? So we spent 30 minutes just on trying to figure out why we were getting this assertion on this. Okay, cool. So that must mean that I have in my oscillator component that I have this name. So I'm getting rid of that. So all of this stuff I could get rid of. Only thing is that they're going to have to be public members of. So here's a great question. Okay, so that's all fine. I think I could put this in private actually, this set, because it'll share the private functions of custom components. So where's my custom component? So I think I could take all this. I can't do it to set name because I need that. So let me see here. Because I don't need, no, see that's going to be private. Yeah, so I need to have it here in public. Okay. What about, can I put it protected? Yes. Okay, cool. So protected makes it accessible to the classes that I'm inheriting from, but not to uninherited classes. So great. So we got that. And okay, so let's do that for some of our other components. So actually, let's try to abstract out this the slider sizes as well. Let's see if we can think about how to do that. So we have this relationship where we've got, so the idea now is that we want to take the label and the slider and we want to combine them because the relationship, we want to combine them into one component because the relationship between all of these, I believe, is the same in all of these classes. So we have, the only exception might be the reverb class because I've had to make them a little bit smaller. Let's just take a look here and see. So yeah, I've just made the dials just a little bit smaller, but let's look at what the relationship is. So Y label start and dial start. So that's still 15, right? So that's cool. So let's see how can we do this? So going back into custom component, let's make another class that will be class label and slider class. Let's think about a name here. What about class dial with label? Right. that will inherit from public JUCE component. And then so what do we want? What do we want to happen here? So we want to have, so let's look at the desired behavior that we want here. Let's take the oscillator class, for instance, where we want the label and the slider to be one thing, right? Where we give it, and then what we could do is we could just give it an X position, and it'll figure out, and then maybe like the top left of the label, because everything will be normally with a component, you would be specifying the top. Yeah, so on the Y, you would be going from the top left. So we'll just give it a Y. So it looks something like this. Set bounds X and Y. That should be it, really. That's all we should need to do. So let's do it, right? So let's do void resized. So we need to have a place where we actually upload the actual slider and the label, right? So we might have to change this around in our set slider params at some point. So we will have a constructor now with label. I'm starting to wonder if this set slider params can actually just all go in this dial with label. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. So it will take these two arguments, feeling like it could do that. We could just take all of this and just do it all in one go. Shall we try it? Let's try it. So let's do this. I need to bring this over as well. Keep on doing lowercase and capital. So we got a slider. This needs to be capital. Take this, pull this up here. And so that will initialize. I'm just going to go with it here. So let's do the constructor. So I'm going to just take all this, copy it. Oh yeah, so I'm in another class here. So just going to put this in the header for now. No, let's not be lazy. Sorry. So I'm just going to put this in here. So this is going to be dial with label. That. And then we're going to do all of this. Put this in here. Then I need to take all of this and I'm going to put this in here in private. So we got two things. We got the dial. So now I can take this out. So I can get rid of this. And then yeah. And then because all of that stuff is just referring to the dial and the label. So now that should get rid of all of this stuff. Okay. Then we've got font. Oh, so font height is still, so I need to make that a, let's see, can I do this? Not sure if I could actually do this, but let me just try this once. See if this works. I want to take this and I want it to be visible to both of these classes. No, that didn't work. Or did it? Oh, it did work, actually. Text box width, and then, oh yeah, so I need to get rid of this because I've moved that now to my, let's see here. So now, did I do all that? Okay, cool. So I got dial with label. So now this should work. No, build failed. We were close though. Okay, so this is, yep. So we're getting there now. So let's see. So this is about OSC component. Yeah, and I have these. So now I need to pull this over. I need to have this. And then I need to put this in here. Using, I Need to change these to slider attachments like this. Don't know why I've done this thing where I've mixed up the capital and the lower cases on these. Okay, next thing is set slider params. Yep, because the way that this needs, so this needs to be called in the constructor now. So I need dial with, so let me just comment these out for a moment. So I'm doing some mad refactoring. So now, let me see if I could do this. Dial with label. And then this will be gain, dial with label. This should be pitch, dial with label. And this should be FM frequency, dial with label. This should be FM depth. Right? Can I just do this? So let me see if I could do gain slider, gain label, gain attachment, and the only thing that I don't, yeah, because my audio processor value tree state won't be I can't just pass that in like that. Okay, so I need to bring in my audio processor value tree state. Yeah, it needs to go like this. So I will pass this in through my initializer list. So it'll look something like this. So I like to do it like this. Gain. This should work. Gain slider, gain label, gain attachment, gain ID, APVTS. Then pitch. I did call it pitch, right? Did I create one called pitch? Yep. Oh, I got a semicolon at the end there. That's why I messed with it. So then we got pitch, pitch slider, pitch label, pitch attachment, pitch ID, then APVTS. Then what else do we got? We have FM freak. Oh, I keep on putting the semicolon at the end. Always do that. FM freak. Here we go. FM freak. Oh, what are you doing? Freak slider. FM freak. Label. FM freak attachment, FM freak ID, and then APVTS. Then FM depth. I did it again. I keep on doing that with the semicolon. FM depth. And here we go. FM depth slider. FM depth label. FM depth attachment. FM depth ID. Great. So that is all of that. So now I should be able to say something like this. So did I do, so let's go back to dial with label class. Did I set out resized yet? No. So do I do that? The question is, does that happen here? No, it would happen in resized. It would happen in the resized of this dial with label class. So we need to do something like this. Void resized override. Because then we want to take the slider and the label and we want to give it the same relative position, right? So this is just talking about one dial with one label. So void dial with label resized, and it should look like this. No. That's not right. Should be like set size. Thing is, I don't know. Don't know if set size is a component method. So set I don't know how else to say it other than set size. Set. I guess it would be. Let me just have a look at the API again. See if. Yeah, it's a component, so it definitely have a set size. So set. Set. I'll just call this set dial size, like this, and all it should need is constant X, constant Y. Because then we go like this. Void dial with label set dial size. And this should say, actually I'm going to call this set dial bounds just to make it kind of with the JUCE, with the same JUCE lingo. And then in here, we should be able to say, so let's go back here. We've got this. Let's pull this over here. And now we should be able to say slider. Oops, one problem, which is that, we're only passing the slider and the label and all of that into our constructor. The question is, can I just no, these are going to have to be are these going to have to be members? Just maybe the slider and the label. Okay, so let's do that very quickly. We're going to need JUCE, slider reference, then my slider. I'll just call it my slider, JUCE, label, my label. And then going back here, now we need to pass these in. My slider is our slider, and my label is the label. Now I should be able to say my slider, set bounds, then this should be X, Y, Y, should be dial size, and actually this will be Y plus 15, right? So we need to have const auto dial to label ratio equals 15. So this will be Y plus dial to label ratio. Not ration, ratio. And this will be label, my label, dot set bounds. This will be X, this will be Y, this will be dial width, or label width, label height. So we've done that. Now we just need to come back here, and it should look something like this. Gain, set dial bounds, and now I should be able to just do this 120, 15. And pitch dot set dial bounds, and this will be 190. So I will get rid of all of this. I will make a const auto. This will be Y start equals 15. Just so if I need to change one, or if I need to change where this is at, I can just change one and it'll do all of them. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Yep, so this is right. Sorry. Y start. And then FM freak set dial bounds. This will be 260 and Y start. Then we've got FM depth, set dial bounds. This will be 330 and Y start. Okay. The big question is, am I making this more simple, or am I making it more complicated by doing all this? This feels much more readable. Okay, fingers crossed this all works. Okay, so build succeeded. Hopefully, oh, we don't have sliders showing. Nearly there. Okay, we're nearly there. Hey, Florian, how's it going? Yeah, not the whole, well, not the whole synth, but I've just been motivated. So yeah, we're trying to push through. So I've made the slider visible. I've made the label visible. So now, why? Let's think about this. So now the question is, why is it not showing? Okay. Thanks a lot, Florian. I appreciate it, man. We're getting there. We are getting there. So, is it because this is, I'm doing, so I'm doing this to, yeah, this is why, because I'm doing it to my slider and my label. I'm not doing it to, so it should be like this. My slider, my slider, my slider. Then this should be my label, then my label, then this should be my slider. Only thing is the attachment is only existing in this constructor. Needs to be a member. That's a problem, right? So this needs to be so I need to do, I have a question. Is this going to be visible down here? I don't think so. Stood unique pointer, slider, attachment, my attachment. I'll call this attachment. So these are just default UI. These are just default visuals. So yeah, I'm just taking it because the thing is, right? So this is the reason that I'm doing this, and I probably should have done this earlier, but I'm trying to be fancy now. So the reason that I'm doing this is because if you take a look at all of these dials and then the oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 and all of these, the relationship between all of these is the same. So and also with the components as well. So all of these components, they have a white border around them that's a rounded rectangle as well. So my thinking is, well, let's just abstract that out, make that a custom class, right? Because all of that is essentially the same. So that's the reason why I've been doing this. So yeah, so that's why we are where we are. Let's see here. So I've done that. This should be my attachment. Okay. So this should show now. And it's still not showing. Okay. So I've set it, I've made it visible. These are references for the slider. Maybe they should just be copies. No, it's not going to let me do that. Call to deleted. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, these have to be references. So and I think I know what it is. I think I know what the problem is, which is that the problem is that dial with label is a component. Dial with label is a component, but I haven't set the bounds of dial with label, right? So that needs to be, the bounds of that needs to be set. So really, I don't even need this, do I? Like this should just be like this. All of this should be called in. So this would be 0, 0. And this would be 0, 0, like that. And then this should be just set in resized, like this. Then we override resized, override. And then this should be, so now this should be called in, let's see, where was I? In Oscillator Components. So this should be gain, set bounds. And then the only thing is that what is the width and the height of all of this? What do we want it to be? So it should be 70. The width should be 70 and the height should be, let's see, 18 plus, so 70 plus 18, which is 88. So 70 and 88 feels right. So just going to try that. Let me just put this in here first. 70 88. And then this will be Y start. And this will be, did I do it at, so what was the first one? So we got 190 to 260, which is 70. So 190 minus 70 is 120, I hope. So here we go. So we should see gain now. Fingers crossed. We still don't see it. Oh man, this is just not. Oh, I haven't added and made them visible. Can I do like an add? So I need to do this as well. Because it's a component, add and make visible, gain, add and make visible, pitch, add and make visible, FM freak, add and make visible, FM depth. Okay, so now let's try it. Boom, we finally got something showing up on the screen. Awesome. So now we just need to do all of these, right? So the only thing is that this, so let's see. Just going to do this because I need to, I will need to change it from one of the things. I will call this just dial width equals 70, const auto, dial height equals 88. So now we can do pitch dot set bounds, which would be 190, Y start, dial width, dial height, FM freak, set bounds. This will be 260, Y start, width, dial height, FM depth, dot set bounds. This will be 330, Y start, dial width, dial height. Okay, so now we should see all of these, and we should actually be able to pick up the pace on what we're trying to do. Cool. So that all works now. Awesome. So now let's clean up these other ones, right? So now we just need to do, so let's do reverb component next. So I can get rid of all this. Let me make sure I got this right. So I can get rid of this, but not the using. So the idea would be something like this. And then I could get rid of this get rid of paint as well, actually. So we will see, for something like this, we should actually see the true results of the work that we've just done here. So we have our sliders, we have our labels, we have our attachments. We don't need this anymore either. Oh, I'm starting to think of ways that I could actually abstract this out even more, which is nuts. It's crazy. It's just insane how deep you can go with this. You could just literally keep going. Like I'm starting to think I don't actually even need this anymore. I don't need these labels. I don't even need this. I don't even need the separate sliders because it's creating those. So, okay. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm going to actually, so let me make sure this actually still builds because I'm going to, I'm ready to abstract this out even more. Oh no, I got build failed. What did I do? Set slider params. So I'm just going to comment this out for now because I've got this. Paint is undefined. So, all right, we're nearly there. Okay. Yeah, so let's go back, right? Because I just had another ridiculous idea, which is that at the moment I have all of these parameters, right? Now the question is, do I want to generate these from here? Can I just do it like this? Because I have a slider and a label and an attachment. Really, this should be a reference, but let's see here. So we want slider, label, and attachment in one bundle, basically. And so it's the attachment that gives it its range. You got the param ID. So this should be pretty straightforward. Really, what do we need? What do we need to make this happen? We don't need the slider anymore, right? Because it's that could be generated inside. And and the label, we could set the label name in the constructor, right? So this generates a slider, a label, and an attachment. So this should be something more like JUCE string label name. Yeah, that could possibly work. Hold on, let me label name. We don't need an attachment anymore, so that shouldn't even be in there. then the param ID, and the APVTS. Right? So then this could just become slider, simplifying this back down. And then this could just become attachment again. Okay, so now I don't need these anymore. So this should be slider, slider, and slider. I'm doing this because I think this could be something that I'll use a lot in the future. Then we've got attachment, label, slider. This will be slider. Okay. And then we just need to copy our arguments here and reset them here. So what we got? We got label dot set text. So this will be label name. Don't send notification. And all right, so hopefully this works. So going back to Oscillator Component now. So what are our arguments again? So we have a label name, a param ID, and the audio processor value tree state. So this should be something like this. Gain. What was the param ID, gain ID, and audio processor value tree state? This will be pitch. And we don't need the gain label either. So pitch ID. And then this will be free, so we can get rid of all this. This will be FM freak. Then this will be FM depth. Okay. And then we've got gain. So we got all of this that is doing that. Now, if we've done all of this properly, then I should be able to do this. So now here comes the true test. Build failed. Okay, what have we done wrong? OSC. Oh, oops, I deleted something that does not want to be deleted, which is this. So like this. And then we got delete all this. This should work. Boom, there it is. Look at that. How awesome is that? Right? So now we've done that. Cool. So now we can do this with these other ones, right? So let's do it. Let's do this. See, that simplified that down like mad, didn't it? So let's try this again, right? We got size. We got dial with label, damping, dial with label, width, dial with label. That is much faster, isn't it? Dry, dial with label, wet, dial with label, freeze. Then if everything is right, then I should be able to just do boom, like that. Get rid of all that business. And now I could do this. So we got size, damping, width, dry, wet, freeze. Size. Did I do that right? Why is it not seeing my... Okay, that worries me a little bit. So there should be something like size, size ID, APVTS, right? Because we have the oscillator component. So I'm just going to make sure I got this right. Okay, cool. So now what's the next one? Damping. I'm not doing something right because it's not seeing my autocomplete. Is it because I have not, this is why, I haven't added it like this. That's why. So now we should be good. So which struct do you mean, Florian? Here we go. Damping. So this should be damping. Damping ID. APVTS. Then width. So this should be width. Width ID. APVTS. Then dry. Yeah, I already have that though over here. Right here, dial with label. Is that what you mean? So let's do dry ID, APVTS, wet, wet ID, APVTS, and freeze. I feel like I've really stumbled on something that probably any developer probably already knows, but I feel like I've just had an epiphany on, because in the, did I do freeze? Oh, I forgot semicolon there. Okay. Because anybody's probably thinking, oh, isn't it obvious that you just make a subclass that would have all of that stuff in there? But yeah, add and make visible. So now we need to do all this size, add and make visible, damping, add and make visible. I'll probably do a whole tutorial on just that. I think that will help a lot of people out. I know if somebody told me that way early on, it would that would have saved me a load of time. Wet, visible, freeze. Okay. So now we have that. I mean, look at how clean that looks. That looks like, I think even Jules would be proud of that. So now I could do this size, set bounds. Then this would be 5, and then this would be, I could just call this Y start. So this will become Y start. I don't need Y dial start anymore. So that would be Y start. Then we got width, which would just be, I could probably just call this width now. Width. And then height would be, let's go back to what our oscillator component was, which is 88. So here we go. Oh, where am I? So I'll just call this height. And height. Look at how much, watch how much code this is going to save us, right? So we got damping, set bounds. This would be size, get right, Y start, width, height, then width, set bounds, then damping, get right, Y start, width, height, then dry, set bounds, and then we got width, dot get right, Y start, width, and height, wet, set bounds. I promise after this we'll actually do some actual DSP. So with dot set bounds, what have I done wrong here? I spelled it wrong. With, no, that's right. Got semicolon, const. Oh, I've made these const. It's cool. I'll come back to it. Let's try set bound or get right. Y start, width, height, and then freeze, set bounds, trying to figure out what's happened there. I will come back to that, which would be wet, get right, y start, width, and height. So see, now I could just get rid of all this here. Boom, like that. Okay. Member base constant is not a structure or union. So let's just try building this and see what's happening here. So what's happened? So I have dial with label width. So let me just So those haven't set out right, but hold on. There's something else that's not quite right. Ah, there are two things called width, of course. Can't have two things called width. So this will be dial width, or no. So I don't need dial size anymore. So I'll call this dial width and dial height. Surprised it didn't just give me an error that said oh, dang it. I need to do all this. So I need to find all the things that say width and replace it with dial width. So let's see here. So replace that. Oh, no, not that. That. Oh, no, not that. That's so funny. It's hilarious. Okay, cool. So that's done that. And then I could do this for height. Dial height. So replace that, and that. This should be dial width. Now I can uncomment these. Fingers crossed, it will work. Boom, there it is. All set out nice. So what are you saying, Florian? So only thing making it better would be a vector with relative sizes. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, I just did where you're getting the right side, of the component before. Yeah, you could certainly do that though. Yeah, I did use JUCE reverb. So now we just need the reverb component to inherit from our custom component. Like that. And then what do we need? We need to do set name. Set name. This will be reverb. All right, so there it is. That's amazing how cleaned up that is, isn't it? I mean, that is I'm pretty impressed with that. Yeah, you could use like Flexbox. You have Flexbox. You have a couple different classes for doing layouts. See, boom, there it is, like that. Wow, really nice. Look at how cleaned up that is. That's so wild, isn't it? look at how simple that is to read now. I mean, I could probably do one with like combo box as well. Just make it really. I'll leave combo box since I don't use that many of them. But wow. Yeah, that is just so cool. Okay, so now let's do this for filter, right? So filter is once again inheriting from custom component. We need to get rid of set name because that's not there anymore. Watch how this class just like cleans up. So cool. So like now I could get rid of this. And then I've got these sliders and these labels and these attachments. So let's see. So we can get rid of this set. We can get rid of all of this stuff actually. So we can get rid of this. This is so cool how it just, I mean, I'm geeking out right now about how much this cleans up the code. It's so awesome. So now we could just do this. So we need to include custom component. And then now I could actually get rid of this as well. So all of this can go. This is just sweet. I am Tile with label. I'm gonna like every project I'm gonna use this now, except for maybe in the tutorials. But yeah, this is gonna be really cool. So this will be called cutoff, dial with label, and this will be called resonance. So see, now I could just take all of this, except for this one, I need that. This is pretty dang sweet. Isn't it? Now I can just do this. What was the first one called? Cutoff. This will be called cutoff. Then it was cutoff ID and APVTS. And then resonance. Resonance. Not sure whether they're called resonance or just res. So resonance ID, APVTS. I'm feeling like if I really thought about it, that I could probably get rid of the APVTS as an argument as well, but possibly, but maybe not. No, it needs to know, it needs to have access to the APVTS. So now I just get rid of these. I could do add and make visible, cut off, add and make visible, resonance. And now you have all of this, right? And I can just, I'll just comment it out for the moment. And I can just say cut off, set bounds, and we could do start X. Then I will say, let me make sure I got this right. 80. So let's start Y. Okay, so, and then width would be label width. Or actually, I'll just do dial, I'll call this dial width. Get rid of dial size. Call this dial height. This will now be 88. I'm going to make this 18 and 40. I'm going to change this to start Y. Oops. So yeah, I'm going to keep that as start X. I'm going to do start Y. Dial width, dial height, like that, and then resonance, set bounds. So that will be cut off, dot get right, start Y, dial width, dial height. Now I can get rid of all of this. All right, so that's cleaned that up quite nicely. So let's see if that actually worked. Yeah, I think that would be really cool to make a video about that. Oh, this isn't quite right. So this needs to be lowered. So what did I make start Y? So what was start Y before? Oh, start Y should be 80, not 40. Yeah, so this will be, I'll end up making this a helper in the GitHub. Boom, there it is. So we got that. Now we can do the same thing with, so let's see. So LFO, so this ADSR, this needs to be its own thing because it's different than the others. So I could still make it like this. So this will be public custom component. We can still get rid of stuff though. So let's think about this. All right, so no, I could do the same thing. I just need to make it linear, these linear vertical rather than what's it called? Rather than dials. So I could actually do it to this as well. So once again, we don't need the paint anymore because the paint is happening already in our custom component. So I could just get rid of this. Yikes. So I can get rid of that now. And then now going here. So we're going to need to add something to this custom component, right? So we got dial with label. So we just need one called slider with label, right? Or can I do, shall I call it slider with label and have an override? An override that where you can set the slider type. That feels sensible, doesn't it? So I'll rename this slider with label, and then I'll add an extra optional argument that will be the slider style. So let's do that. So I'm going to have to change a couple of these things. So this is now going to be called slider with label rather than dial with label. And then I'm going to add an argument here that's going to say, can I do JUCE slider style? Can I do that? Let me think about this before I go changing everything. So the question is, if I want to be able to change the slider style in the constructor, can I just create an optional argument that would it be something like this? I want to do something like this. Let's just try it, see if it happens. JUCE slider style, and style is equal to JUCE slider style, rotary. I don't think this is going to work. Rotary horizontal vertical drag. Is that going to work? Okay, so now let's just, oh, no. Non-const L cannot bind to a temporary of type JUCE slider style. Can I do this? Okay, so I'm going to try that, and then I'm going to do this using slider style is equal to all of this. Then this will just clean up the readability of this. Yeah? Feels sketchy. So then, let me see if I can remember how to do this. So I will need, just grab all this business and do this. Bring that, and then I can just do this. We don't put the equals, the default here. We just put the argument. And then I could just do this. Okay. I think I'm going to mess something up where I need to change some stuff. Build failed. So let's see here. Uh-oh, loads of stuff. What have I done? Oh, there's something in here. Sorry. I need to include custom component. Help me. Hopefully this doesn't mess up my whole. Okay, got a linker error. Undefined symbol. ADSR set slider params. Oh, it's this. An ADSR component. It's because I was halfway through. It was because I was halfway through changing this class around, and then I thought of I had another epiphany. That's why. Let's build failed, so we're nearly there now. Okay, just need to get back to where I was. How many people are watching this? Hey, 6 people. Sweet. So now we got the ADSR component is, I need to set a name for it. So we got oscillator 1, oscillator 2, filter.set name. I need to do ADSR set name, which will be ADSR, or oops, this ADSR, like that. Then filter ADSR set name, filter ADSR. Okay, so we should be good now. Okay, build succeeded. Okay, cool. So ADS, so everything's showing again, which is cool. Okay, now let's close. So now let's go back and let's do what we were setting out to do before, which was to mess with our custom component again. So we got our custom component that has an optional argument now. And now we intend to use that in our, we intend to use that in here. So let's see if this is going to work. So, oh yeah, I was going to change the name of this class custom. So this was dial with label. I now want to call it slider with label, because now we're talking about the slider class. So I'm going to take dial with label. I'm going to replace with slider with label. I can just do all. I could do the same thing here. All. Now I'm going to need to do this for all of my classes that I've done this for. So again, we've got I want to replace all of these. Reverb component, same thing. Replace all. And then what else did we do? Did we do filter component? Yep. So the same thing here. And then I need to do it to custom component. So here we go. We got. So that should build now. Who's rolling with me? Got 5 people. All good. Okay, cool. So now we can go to the next phase, which is that our ADSR components. Now we have the whole reason that we've done this is because we have sliders, labels, and attachments. And now I can just call this with one thing. So this will be slider with style, slider with label. This will be attack, slider with label, decay, slider with label, sustain, slider with label, release. Okay, so what's nice about that is that now I can just take all of this and I could go, boom, gone, like that. It's wild, right? And now what I could do is hopefully this is going to be the test to see if this thing actually is going to work, which is going to be that I got attack, and this will be A, and then this will be param ID will be attack ID, maybe VTS. Now here we go. This is where the test is going to be slider style, linear vertical. Okay, so that we just need to do this 4 more times. Then just change the IDs. So we got D, this is decay, DK. This is sustain. This is release. And then this is decay ID. This is sustain ID. This is release ID. Okay, and then I just need to add and make all of these visible. Add and make visible. Attack. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this 4 times. Boom, boom, boom. Decay. Sustain. Release. And now look at all this. So now we should be able to get rid of loads of this, right? So should be able to say attack, set bounds. Let's see if this, so if we do slider start X minus label offset. Ooh, this is an interesting one. So this one's a little bit different. What are we going to do here? Let's just put it in and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so we got, I'll just do slider start X. And then Y will be, so I'll just call this, I'll call this start X. And then I'm going to get rid, and then I'm going to call this label, so this should be start Y. So we're going to see if we can actually get this to work properly. And then we got, so I don't need this So this will be called start X now. And then slider start Y. This is going to be tricky. Let's see if it works. Hopefully the relationships will be quite similar, but we shall see. So I'm going to do slider width equals 70. So I'm going to try to make these the same, 70 and 88, which is the same as the other classes that we did. Don't know if it's going to work or not. So we got slider width, slider height. And I'm just going to not worry about these for the moment. Just see if we can get one of these right. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so it has worked. Looks like it's positioned well as well. We just need to change the height of it. I think if we change the height of it, we'll be fine. So 88. So what do we have? So let's make this get height minus, I don't know, 100. Let's try that. Oh, I needed. So the slider height is get width minus 100. Have I messed that up? Oh, it's because it's changing. Yeah, this is going to be, I'm going to need to do one that's different for this one. Because we got this. So going over to here, we have our label height. And our dial size is locked in. Okay, this is cool. This is all right though. We can change this. Let me think. Yeah, we have our sizes of our dials locked in. Let's see. What are we going to do here? I mean, I could. One option is that this component is I just resize it, and that becomes the the size of what ADSR is. And that doesn't feel like such a bad deal there. That feels pretty sensible, actually. Probably move this up a bit. So let's try that. So let's go back. Yeah, because it doesn't feel like the ADSR doesn't need to be huge, does it? So let's do this. So let me see. Let me make sure this actually looks right. So attack, get right, start Y, slider width, slider height. So what is slider width and slider height doing then? It's not actually controlling the size of, it's just controlling the size of the entire component, not of the individual elements. So that is the solution. Okay, that's the solution. Because the thing is that it should be this, right? It should be, let me just try this. Can I do this? Get width, get height. Like that. What about dial size? No. I could do like a ratio, right? Where I say so much of the label, so much of the whole component is going to be the label, and so much of it is going to be the slider, but then that's just going to mess with my font size and all of that. Okay, I'm going to go back to my original solution to keep this simple, which is going to be just to change the size of the ADSR itself. So it's going to be slider width, and then slider height is 88. And then got that, sustain, set bounds. Let's see how we do there, which will be decay, get right, start Y, slider width, slider height, like that, and then release, set bounds. That will be sustain, get right, start Y, slider width, slider height. Let's see if that works. Yeah, still working through it. So let's see what we've got now. We've caught a small flaw in our design, which is this, that with vertical sliders, it's a little bit different. Yeah. What to do about that? You know, option A is another class that's just for linear vertical sliders. Option B is try to shoehorn those two behaviors into the same class. Thinking of option A. Yeah. Okay, which means that I could, oh, this is going to be annoying, but I'm actually going to change this back to dial with, oh man. So I've got slider with label. No, I'm going to keep it, vertical. I think I'm going to do two separate classes, dial with label. So we're going to replace all of these, and then we're going to go back up here. Going to do the same with this. Replace all of those. And then this will be dial. So we're going to do the same thing here. And I'm going back and undoing all the stuff that I had just done before. So I'm determined to get this done before I finish this live stream now. There we go. So now we've got replace, and we're doing all. So there we go. So now we're going to go back to our dial with label class. I'm going to get rid of this thing where I could change my slider style. That was a noble idea, though. That was almost really cool, but not quite the one. It was a noble cause, though. See, the only thing I don't like about this is that now I'm going to have to make another class that's going to be nearly the same as dial with dial with label. I could abstract it out. Man, it's getting deep, man. It's getting so deep. Oh boy. I could. Yeah, I could make an abstract class where I just change one thing. That would just be, I'm just going to do this for now. Slider with label. And then this will be slider with label. Should I just I'm just debating doing this quickly. I can't bring myself to repeat it twice. I can't do it. Because there's really only one fundamental thing, or just two fundamental things that are different with those classes. It's the size is that one is a rotary a rotary dial and one is a slider, a linear vertical slider, and the distances between the distances between the sliders. I can't bring myself to actually just copy it over again. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this first. I should probably put this out to its own file. Let's see. So I'm going to call this component with label. And then let's see. Then this is going to inherit from component with label. Because I don't need to change any of this. It's really resized that I need to change, right? I'm just talking to myself here. So component with label, and then it's resized that's going to be different. So if so it's really dial with label. Okay, so let's not get mixed up here. So this is component with label, because all of this is going to be the same. Let me think. Okay, if I do this, then I could add back let me just think about this very quickly. What do we want to change here? We want to change, we really want to change resized. That's really where the problem lies. That's really where the problem is at, which is that another option could be we go back again Another option is that we go back again, we put the slider option back in, and we add a function that will change what the relationship of what the size of the dial is. That feels even, yeah. Let's do that. Okay, all right. So I'm going to change it back to slider with label. I'm going to have this slider style. Then let's Command Z out of all this. So we got so this is going to be called slider with label again. and I'm going to add a custom, a way that you could customize what the size of the actual component is. So that means I need to go back here, make the slider again. All of this is making me hungry. Once I actually finish this, I'm going to actually get something to eat, I think. Okay, then we're going to do this. And then going back to ADSR. Okay, cool. So that is still there. Awesome. So now we go back to custom component. And now we go back to slider with label. And we're going to do a void set slider size. That's a good question. I don't know what I'm going to eat yet. I'm trying to stay healthy. I've actually been shedding off a bunch of weight lately. So trying to stay healthy even on the weekends. Slider with label. This is slider with label. And then we're going to do void slider with label set slider size. And then this is going to do const int size. And then we'll do const int size. Then we're going to make a int slider size. Wow, shrimp, huh? Nice. Yeah, shrimp would be cool. Yeah, shrimp would be really cool. Slider size equals size. And then in here, we're going to do JAssert. Slider size is not equal to 0. Is greater than 0. And this will become slider size. This becomes slider size. And then that size will go. And then what else? So now in here, I will need to say I'll need to do that for every single one of these. That's not what I want. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep the assert in. I'm going to add in another field here. It's going to be constant slider height. Constant slider, here we go. Constant slider width. Constant height. Then we will do slider width. And slider height. So then we will go, we don't need to do that here. We can do that in here. Slider width equals width. Slider height equals height. Yeah, so let's see here. I need to put this in my constructor. Like that. Okay. I feel like we're there now. Okay, so let's go back to, what's this? Oh, so these shouldn't be optional actually, these should go here. So that's optional, this is not optional. And then, there we go. Go back here. And then this goes here. Okay. Then this should go slider width. Insert slider height is greater than 0. That should be slider width. Slider I'm going to do that because those two widths should be the same. Okay. Whew, that's some intense thinking right there. So now we just need to add these arguments to our components. So it should be like this. 70 and 88. Which makes me feel like it needs to be something like this. Static const expert. int slider dial width equals 70. This should be dial height equals 88. Dial width, dial height. Am I just making this more complicated than I should be? I don't think so, because it looks much, much better. Then this should just go like this. Right, so that fills. That I just need to do the same thing with this. So this should be 67 and 88. I feel like I'm missing something here because yeah, I feel like it's like repeat. I don't know if that's quite right. But we will roll with it. Oh, it's not that. Dial width, dial height. I'll do it from the comma like this. And then, so we've done that for slider. So we've done that for the reverb, done that for the oscillator. And then we didn't do anything for component for the LFO yet. Then we should do this for this. And these would be 70 and 88. Start X and start Y. Right, and then we just need this for Adsr component, right? So this is where our problem was. So hopefully we can figure this out. So let's see, so this will be slider width. So let's make this 30 maybe. Slider height, make it maybe 200. We'll try that. And then we got this slider width, slider height. Okay. Let's see if this actually builds. Okay, so slider width and slider height. height are not visible. So let's go back here. Oh, this should be slider height. So here we go. Let's try this again. Okay. Oh, there we go. It should not be there. Okay, here we go. Okay. Not quite what I wanted, but getting there. Getting there. Okay. Let's go back here. So what did I have here before? So label width and slider size were the same. Okay. So let's look at the oscillator components first. So, yeah. Okay. So, let's see. We want so that's 70, and then we got slider height is 88. We don't want it to be 88, do we? We want it to be, we want that to be 70. So let's start here. So this should get us towards where we need to be. So then this should be maybe 50, maybe 400. Oh no, sorry to hear that, Tommy. Have you checked out our, are you in our Discord, Tommy? So our height, the height of our labels isn't quite right. So what happened there? So our ADSR is too tall. Gain is fine in terms of, but it's the rest of them that are not working properly. So let's see here. Let's go back to oscillator. So here we go. Oh, dial height is showing as 70. Yeah, I'm going to send you the link here. So there you go. I feel like this is bad. This isn't the best design, but this will get us where we need to be, and then I could probably circle back and come and go back to so auto height equals 88. Go, so we will go height. Constant width 70. Yeah. This might be a little bit confusing to use. I probably need to go back and tighten this up once I've actually got to the result, but this is okay for now. So we got reverb component, got the oscillator component. So we will say const auto del const auto width equals 70, const auto height equals 88. This will be this, and this. Okay, then we go, so LFO hasn't done yet, filter. We'll do this. So const auto width equals 70, const auto height equals 88. And ADSR is the one where we needed. So, okay, where are we? So we got, oh yeah, back to this again. I'm going to change the name of this. We'll call this stereo width. Stereo width. Then I will call this stereo width. Here we go. Right here, stereo width. Okay. Getting there. How's everybody doing out there? Okay, we got, boom. Now we're back. We are back in business. So now we have, this size is too big. on reverb, and then the ADSR, I need to set the size of this, then I need to separate the size of that from the filter ADSR. Okay, so going back to reverb. Also, this should be 67, not 70. I'm sure there's a cleaner way to do some of this. Okay, cool. So that is fine. Feels like the size of that is a little bit big. So maybe I just move that just a bit to the right. So let's say 8. Let's try 8. Just needs to be like 2 or 3 pixels. Okay, that feels a bit better. If I want to be, maybe make it 10. Let me see. Nice clean number. Yeah, there it is, centered right in the middle. Okay, now let's take care of ADSR. So, so now here we are. So this is the reason why we did this in the first place, because we wanted to have the benefits of our slider with label class that we created, but at the same time be able to customize the size of the component itself. I mean, you could probably I could probably flesh this out a lot further, make this much better. I mean, it's okay now. It's okay for now. It's kind of a quick fix. Okay, so that's there. The text boxes are too big. So do I need to change that? It's like you're doing this to make sure to try to keep everything kind of static, and then next thing you know, you're wanting to change everything. Oh man. Can I do this? I don't know if it'll mess up some of my other ones though. Looks like, the only one that's messed up is this one. Dang it. That's literally the only one that's messed up. Oh man, that disappoints me. These text boxes aren't appearing as well. What to do there? It's just literally that one. It's literally that one that's different, that needs to be different. What to do there? I just need that one to be different. Can I get away with 45 maybe? Let's try that. Just need it where it's not exactly right on top of each other. Man. Does it really need to be 50? Let's try 48. Okay, 48 works. These are pretty close to each other, but I think I can forgive that. So now I just need to actually make them actually visible. So why isn't that? So text box height for slider height is 250. So let's see here. Const auto height equals 270. Let's try this. Because it needs to accommodate for the label as well. Probably doesn't even need to be 270, probably 260 would be fine. Yeah, so that's cool. It's just this filter ADSR is inheriting from the same class, and I need to fix that now. So how can I change that? It's cool. I know what I need to do. So ADSR. Let's do. Let's see. How is that going to work? It's going to need to know. It's going to need to know the slider height at compile time. Suppose that I could just put it in here as arguments. Something like this. And then do this. Slider width, slider height, plus 10. And then I need to make this is just not. Slider width is now just existing here. Pretty sure that there's a better way I could do this. Let's do this. And then okay. So int height equals 0. Let's just getting messy. Height equals slider height plus 10. Like this. And then when we go into our editor, for the ADSR, we can say something like this. So what was it? What did we make it before? 50 and 250. You know what? If I use Flexbox or something like that, that would probably just make this so much easier. But we're too far down the road now for that. $250. I was thinking something like this. Then this would be something like 3,100 maybe. Let's try that. Pretty sure there's going to be an error somewhere here. Build failed. So let's see. Oh, I need to do this. I need to put it in my constructor. Okay. Slider width. So this needs to be slider width. Hey, how's it going? Doing something to make these things work, but I could definitely make these a lot more flexible given time. Oh, WIDTH. Nearly there. So what do we got now? Oh, this needs to be width. Is that right? I don't know if that's going to be right. Let's try it. Oh, very close. Very close. So I just need this one to be down another 5 pixels. And then I need this one to be just wider and smaller. So wider and shorter. So let's worry about the first one first. So I can make this 260, that should fix it. Let's make this 40 and 70. Very close. The other thing is these boxes are too big now. Didn't like filter ADSR anyway. I might change that. So I'm going to make this 270. Get rid of filter ADSR for the moment. Thank you very much. It's getting there. What is going on here? So I need to go back into ADSR. Oh, here we go, 20. So let's try this. Okay, cool. So that looks fine now. So now what to do about this filter ADSR? I actually liked the idea of maybe I could put it could extend this out to the right. I've got an idea. Got an idea that will essentially solve all of these problems that I'm talking about. We could take this, we could put it to the right of filter, LFO, filter. That will make this a whole section like this, the filter section, and then take the ADSR and either bring it to the left or bring it to the right. So that's what we're going to do. And if I do that, that will solve another problem, which is that we have these ridiculous slider width and slider height things that we're doing. You know, like this. I could just make them the same. Yeah, maybe. I can't live with it like it is the way it is now, though. How am I going to push a commit with it looking like that? That's not gonna look right. So what did I need to do? So now I can get rid of these. I can do this. Equals, what was it that I had that? 50 and then 260. So we'll do this. That will make both of these things the same. This brings up an interesting question, which is, can I do this? Static const expr int slider width equals 50 static const expr height equals, did I say 260? And then what if I want to do this? So now I take this, bring this back. I say const auto width equals slider width, const auto height equals slider height plus 20. Not sure if I can add a const expert to just yeah. Oh, this needs to be slider height. Like this. Oh, static const expert int. See, this is how I know that I'm starting to get towards the time where I need food. Because it's a plugin, so I don't really need it to be. I don't really need it to be dynamic. I mean, that's the main reason. I don't intend for this to necessarily be resizable. So that's the reason why I haven't done the bounds dynamic like that. If it was an app, then it would need to be dynamic, and I would I'd have a different opinion. So this is 830. So let's take a look at what. So this is 230. So I need to add about 250 to this 830. So what's 830? 5, 6. So let's see. Calculator. 830 plus 250 equals 1080. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted to take filter ADSR. I want to make it the same 230, 360. I know. Welcome back, Justin. How's it going? I remember you from yesterday. So filter ADSR now needs to go here. So ADSR, so this needs to go like this. And then ADSR will be filter ADSR. So let's see. So this will be filter ADSR. Boom. There it is. I feel like now, like filter LFO, filter ADSR should almost be like colored differently. So those should be like a section of their own. Same thing with oscillator. Oscillator should be done differently, but should we do that? Should we do that and call it a call off for lunch? So what we could do is we could say, so I didn't end up doing set slider size. Yeah, I'm not a big person on magic numbers either. It was more of a thing that I saw that this was a, I was doing so many components just with the same relationship. I find Flexbox to be a real pain in the butt to use. So let's see. So we need a set color in custom component. So we don't actually need a resize. Do I need to keep this? So let's do void custom. So I'm just going to actually put this in the header. So I'm going to do in custom component, I will do void set set bounds color JUCE colors color or just C bounds color equals C. And then we'll do JUCE colors back bounds color. Yeah, the remove from top. I've been using rectangle remove is really good. But I find even when you do rectangle remove from top, you still run into magic numbers though, right? Because you got to tell it how much to remove. Unless you try to keep everything relative, like bounds divided by 4 and so on. So, get width divided by 4. That can get tricky sometimes though. That's what I've found. White. And then bounds color. Is this right? Okay, then this needs to be bounds color. Yeah, what's the other one? Grid. Yeah, grid I find to be a nightmare. Okay, cool. So that's fine. And now I can go in here and I can do something like this. So let's do filter, ADSR, set color. Oh, set bounds color. Bounds color. JUCE colors. Let's just see if this actually works. Cool. Now that works. Nice. I'm going to get my my brand color here very quickly. So where is my graphic assets? So I'll grab this. Was it JUCE colors from Hex or something like this? From JUCE color from Hex. Oh, there's from RGB. Let's do from RGB. There we go. Then got filter, set bounds color. I'll do this. auto filter color equals, and we do filter color. Down here we do filter color. Then we have LFO 1 dot set bounds color. LFO 1 isn't actually, I haven't actually done that yet with my custom component, but we can do that right now. So LFO, so let's see. So this was the cool thing that I was doing earlier. So we have this stuff. It has sliders, has labels, has attachments, has all this like font height, text box width, all this stuff. And then you run into all this. But I've made a custom class. So now what I can do is I can actually just get rid of a lot of this stuff. And then I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So I have this custom class that's called it's called Slider with Label. So it does a lot of this hard work for you. So you could do slider. Oh, I need to include it first of all. Include custom components. Now I'm going to inherit from custom components. I can get rid of this paint because it's doing it in my custom component now. And then coming down here, we have slider with label. I'll call this LFO frequency. Slider with label. LFO depth. Should be able to get rid of all this stuff too. And now I can do this. LFO frequency, and then I could just throw in all of this stuff. So we got the label name, which is LFO frequency, the param ID, which is LFO freq ID, the audio processor value tree state object, and then we have this width and height, which would be, what was it that I had for these other ones? Oops, 70 and 70. So I can take these, I will just copy them like that. Oops, what did I call it actually? Dial width and dial height. Dial width, dial height, and then LFO depth, LFO depth, LFO depth ID, APBTS, dial width, and dial height. And then I can just do this, add and make visible, LFO freq, LFO add and make visible, LFO depth, Now I can get rid of these. And then coming down here, we could say LFO freak dot set bounds. Was that what I wanted? I think it's set bounds that I want. This will start at 18, 40, and what do I want here? Label width. I'll just call this width. And height. No, that's not what I want. Then this will be 88. And then LFO depth set bounds. So I'll call this const auto start y equals 40. So this will be 90, 40, width, and height. And then I can just get rid of all this. If I do that, like look at how, oh, this should be start y. Start y. I love how that just cleans that class up like that. Let's see if this works. Oh, I need to set a name for this. Which one? LFO components. So LFO components. So let me do that here. LFO component, LFO1 dot set name. This will be filter LFO. Then I'll take this just to keep everything in order. Put that there. Let's see if this works. Great. So now we got custom colors on the filter section. Let's do the same thing for the oscillator section. So what's our RGB for that? Actually, I like this one, the orange, better. Okay. So let's do auto osc color equals JUCE color from RGB. And we'll do osc1 set color. That's not what I want. Set bounds color. Bounds color. Osc color. Osc2. Set bounds color. Osc color. Cool. These other colors kind of clash it a little bit, but it's okay for now. If I wasn't so hungry, I'd actually put the label, the audio programmer logo down here on the bottom, but feeling kind of hungry. Shall we see how this actually sounds? The filter, just to warn you, the actual filter ADSR isn't working at the moment. So that's the only thing that isn't quite working right. I'll show you what I've been doing. So okay. Can y'all hear that? So it's just a simple sine wave at the moment. So I will, let's do one note. Woohoo! And then you can do this. Check it out with the reverb. Yeah, maybe I could do this. Let me see if I could actually get it through the loop back. Oh no, it's not compatible. That's not good. So let me see here. Oh, is it? Let's see if this works now. Oh, how about now? The filter, sometimes I need to work out something with the filter LFO and the filter. So when I move it quickly, it breaks it a little bit. So. Let's give it a little bit of this. And then you can make some like horror sounds. Yeah, not bad. Not bad for, I mean, it's super basic, but it's coming along. Nice. We got UFO sounds now. aliens are flying in. Or a ray gun. That's like a ray gun. Yeah. That's like a Star Trek stun gun right there. Yeah. Not bad. Yeah, it's coming along. This freeze function is actually really cool. I need to change the granularity of this though, because you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's like the resolution needs to be a little bit more. So that's the state variable filter, the new one, the TPT filter. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along a bit. Yeah. What would be awesome is I want to do an arpeggiator. That would be cool, wouldn't it? If like along the bottom here, you could do an arpeggiator. You could just go crazy. You could just go really wild with this. You could say, okay, you do the arpeggiator. Now I want to do an arpeggiator to the filter cutoff. Like you could just go forever on it. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm hungry now. So yeah, I think I'm gonna grab something to eat. But yeah, let's see. So Neo's wants to know how to learn. So I would start with the JUCE. So if you're just getting to learn JUCE and C++, I will show you a couple things. So one thing that would be helpful is we have, if you want to learn the C++, then I would say check out my playlist with my son. So I have a playlist with my son called Teaching My Son C++ Basics with My Son, which is this one. So I will put this in here. So that's a good one if you're just getting started with C++. And then I would say the other one is the JUCE 6 tutorial series. So that is, as much as I can make it, I put that in order by what you should know first. I also have the first couple synth tutorials for the synth that I've been using. What's up, Daniel? Yes, learn Soul. Soul is great. And Max MSP. Max MSP is great as well. Did you just join us, Daniel? Did you see the synth that I've been working on? It's coming along. We are getting there. I don't know how much of a delay we're on. Oh, we're on quite a delay, actually, taking a look. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, some really cool stuff. So yeah, check out those playlists if you're looking to get started. I know. Speaking of a walk, I should probably do some walking. I've actually been on this live stream now for about 3 hours. We should do a live stream together, Daniel. We should do one with Soul. Florian actually has a channel as well, so he does some cool stuff. He does some awesome stuff as well. So check his channel. Yeah. So this is it. I'm hungry. I'm gonna grab some lunch, I think, and I'm gonna let you people go. Thank you very much for tuning in and hanging out with me. I know it was a lot of just custom component stuff and abstracting out classes. Actually, I should push this to the repo, so you can actually grab the repo for this as well. So so we got git add git commit create abstracted custom components, git push origin main. Yeah. So there you go. You can grab that. I will put the link to that in. Well, the link is in. No, it's not in the description. But let's do this. So you can actually grab this synth from here. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. I love you too, man or woman, OTT. Thank you very much for hanging out, and yeah, let's do this again soon. This is a good time. I should probably actually get out and do some walking or do something besides sitting at my desk.